So episode 1 was pretty well received. So thank you guys for actually checking that out. But now you're tuned into episode 2. And in episode 2, we are going to continue ranking my entire Boadicea the Victorious collection. First episode, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you guys click the little thing up there. Check out the first video, then come back. So at least you have an idea of continuity. You know what we're doing here and how we're kind of going about our videos. But we'll drop my intro music first, and then we'll get back and get into it. I'll see you guys then. All right, so thank you guys again for joining me. My name is Madar from Food and Fragrances. This is episode 2 of my Boadicea collection, and we will be checking out fragrances number 35 to 26. We got 10 of these bad boys to update you with. So again, if you haven't checked out the first video, make sure you check out episode 1. I'll again put that link up there. But most importantly, before we get started, just keep in mind, if you want to support the channel, help the channel grow, please subscribe, like, share the content, comment below what your favorite scent is from Boadicea. Also, if you don't have a scent from Boadicea, that's fine. Let me know what your scent of the day is and what other content that you would like to see. Much love, always appreciate you. And I guess we'll get it rolling. Now, before we start, again, disclaimer is, we're ranking my personal collection and my thoughts behind it. Obviously, our lists are not going to be the same if you had the exact same 46 fragrances. So just take what you want with it. My thoughts and opinions are not the end-all be-all. So, you know, there's that. But you're not here for all that nonsense. You're here for the continuity of the list. So let's jump into it. 36 is a fragrance that I don't necessarily have in my collection. It's a decant, and I've gone through the decant quite significantly to the point that I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't pull the trigger when I did, because it is increasingly hard to find. So 36 is Champion from Boadicea the Victorious. Now, it is a limited release. I believe it was released for the World Cup, sort of like a collaboration or kind of like an inspiration. And in the previous video, we talked about Consorts. Now, in my honest opinion, I think Champion is closer to Aventus than Consorts is. And I do think Champion is done a little bit well. It does open up very, very similar to Aventus, but then there are minor nuances that come into play that really add a level of depth and complexity to the fragrance. But in all theory, yes, it is another Aventus-like inspired fragrance, and you'll kind of notice the theme of episode 2 as we kind of go through the list. Now, I do like Champion. I like it much more than I like Consort, but just due to the lack of availability, and then obviously when there is a bottle available and the price hikes, is there that much of a difference to kind of push Consort to the side and pay more for Champion? Nah, not really. Bottle looks pretty cool though. It's like an image of a soccer ball, but realistically, you get a little bit of a vanillic nuance to it in the dry down, but primarily it really is sort of like an Aventus-like inspiration. So that's why it's coming in a little bit higher than expected, but realistically, again, this is my personal collection. So I will have a lot of positives to say about this because it's my personal collection and I've done pretty much everything in my power to not get, you know, bad fragrances. So even though it's at 36, it's still a good fragrance and it's still worth checking out. And if you can get it at a banging deal, I would roll with it, because if you get Champion, you're probably not going to want Aventus. Just be real. So that is 36. So let's go on to 35. Okay, so I lied. That was 35. That was 35. So now we're going into 34. Now, 34 is a fragrance that I'm wearing today. I really, really like it. And I mostly wanted to wear it to really kind of, how would I describe it? So 34 is going to be one that I think is very, very unique, very, very special. And I really like this one a lot. And this is Black Cashmere. Now, Black Cashmere is beautiful stuff. If you're into a musky, smooth opening and dry down, very, very velvety, very luxurious feeling. It doesn't, it doesn't oversteps its boundaries with any one note. It really feels like a very well blended composition. The musk in this is very, very good. The quality of this is very, very good. The cloves do not add anything of a abrasive, spicy nuance. It's blended in fairly, fairly well, but that star is the musk and the amber. The amber initiates this very clean, slight little hint of sweetness that blends with the musk very, very well. This does not feel like an overpowering fragrance. In the air, it's very, very smooth, very, very luxurious. It's a fragrance that, in my opinion, if you're well dressed, well groomed, this will do well. Not a fougere at all. More so almost chypre leaning, chypre meaning a little bit more woodsier. But realistically, the way that this fragrance is done, it's really highlighting the musk side. And it's not an animalic musk whatsoever. It almost leans towards almost a, I don't want to say boozier because I don't want to make you think of that alcohol, whiskey, cognac, rum type of note. It's not that, but it does have sort of that characteristic where it's warming, right? It has like that warming nuance to it. Almost has sort of like that, it might just be the animalics really from the musk, but it's done incredibly well. It's just very smooth blended, like you're wrapping yourself in a cashmere scarf. It's one of those. And the scarf doesn't have anything kind of like popping out, no lint, no nothing. It's just boom, like super smooth, super flat, has that little shine in the background. That's kind of what the fragrance smells like. In my opinion, yes, I would have loved to rank this higher, but the list is really good. And again, this may not be for everybody, but I'm really enjoying this, and I really got this from a good friend of mine within the community. So shout out to you, Eric, for introducing me to this beautiful fragrance. That is 34, Black Cashmere. We're gonna continue, I guess, on with the theme of episode 2, and the theme is Attack of the Clones, sort of like a Star Wars reference, but coming in at 33 is Vetiver Imperial. Or Vetiver Imperial. Hey, you want to get fancy with it, you get fancy with it. Vetiver Imperial is beautiful. Beautiful vetiver note, beautiful, it's very similar. The reason why it's as low, like it's lower on the list, is because it's Isola Blue, Oligarch, Basso from Sospiro. Right? There's nothing unique about this fragrance other than it's done exceptionally well. You get your citrus vetiver combination with a woody background. But is it good? It's fantastic. Longevity is pretty damn good too. What I'd kind of expect from a Boadicea. And again, gorgeous, gorgeous bottle. I love the turquoise with gold. Really, really done well. But yeah, there's nothing really special about this fragrance. It does remind me a lot of a Isola Blue from Raja, Oligarch from Raja. It really has that nuance. Terre d'Hermès from Hermès, obviously. So if you don't have the ability to kind of go and sample, the Rajas or anything like that, if you go in, sample the Terre d'Hermès EDP, you'll understand what the general nuance of this fragrance will be like. It's a beautiful, sparkling vetiver fragrance with the citrus nuance and a little bit of woodiness and the dry down. So nothing really spectacular or special about this fragrance, but it is done well. So there's that. You'll enjoy wearing it, and it could potentially be a nice signature scent, especially if you're in a warmer climate. So that is Vetiver Imperial. So the next one on the list is number 32. And excuse the cap, I did end up getting this as a tester without a cap, so I just used a different cap, which was my extra, which was from Legend. But this is 32, Monarch. This one had the potential of being ranked higher. But again, it's really on how much I like leather fragrances and the execution of them. This is executed phenomenal. What I really like about this is the opening is a tea-like concoction. So it'll be a black tea-like fragrance with a lot of white florals in there. There will be a little tiny touch of fruitiness to really kind of allow that tea to kind of blossom. But then what really comes out of it is this beautiful incense type leather. And it's wonderfully done, wonderfully done. I'm really not heavy into leather fragrances, but this is something I could easily wear. And obviously when I was first known to this fragrance, I was like, oh, okay, this is a cool opening, you know, nothing to be afraid of. And I kind of did a little bit of an overspray, and the leather intensifies. So very crisp, very clean, very mellow, very subtle, but then the leather comes in and it shapes the fragrance quite dramatically to the point where if you do overspray, you know, you'll kind of be like, oh, damn, what the hell? But it's still nice. It's still very, very nice. And honestly, I really do love this fragrance. I think, as you can see, I did get this as a partial, but I have made a dent in it. I think I was like up here. And I really do enjoy wearing this fragrance. But this is something I think I'd definitely buy another bottle of, quite frankly. Really, really like this. I think this is almost like an end-all leather. So, not necessarily saying, you know, it's a must buy or anything like that, but if you are into leather fragrances and you know, the thought of tea leather with some florals, some white florals, entices you, this is definitely worth sampling. And price-wise, I don't think it's really bad at all. And that's, you know, another reason why I like this house a lot, because you have, you know, lower tier priced fragrances which do not sacrifice on quality. You have mid-tier price fragrances which, you know, have a little bit of a step up, and then, you know, your expensive tier fragrances, which that is sort of a different story. We'll talk about that maybe in the last episode when we conclude everything. But I really like Monarch. I think Monarch is done incredibly well. It's a very fun, very enjoyable fragrance, but very masculine leaning, in my opinion. But yeah, I really enjoy this. We'll move on to the next one. So the next fragrance on this list will potentially be a surprise to a lot of people because they do rank and rave about this fragrance rather high. It didn't hit like that for me, unfortunately. I do like it, and I have contemplated looking at potentially moving on from it and selling it, but I just can't bring myself to it. Just because there are elements to this fragrance that I really like in the way that it sits and blossoms off his skin, but it's just not as good as what people kind of brag about it to be, at least for me. And unfortunately, this is going to be Namir. And this is coming in at 31. The thing with Namir is it's a beautiful woody rose fragrance. It's very delicate. In my opinion, I think it's very, very unisex. I think it could also be very feminine friendly. It's a beautiful rose oud type of combination, which involves, you know, notes like saffron, some more sweeter notes, very delicate, very fluttering, very, you know, very, I don't want to necessarily say sweet, but there is an element of sweetness to this fragrance. It's good. It's really good. It's just, it's not necessarily something that I would gravitate to. It feels a little bit more original than a lot of the other fragrances on this list. But I don't know. I just, for me, if I was to wear this fragrance on this occasion, I feel like there would be something else I'd probably prefer to wear. So that's why I kind of, it is kind of on the lower side of the list. But otherwise, it's a very nice, very high quality fragrance. And I think everybody should give this one a try if there's any fragrance to formulate their own opinion, because I feel like for those who are into Boadicea the Victorious would rank this much higher than I got this ranked, quite frankly. But again, to each their own. It's just for me, this was sort of kind of a miss. But that is Namir. from BTV, and that was coming in at 31. Now, talking about 30, a lot of people will know this fragrance because it's caught a lot of hype because it is a luxurious clone of a very popular fragrance. This is Harmonious, coming in at 30. And this is a clone or a interpretation of DHP, Dior Homme Parfum. Very much so. Very much so. So if you know what that smells like, you'll know what this smells like. Beautiful woodiness, beautiful iris. You have that lipstick-like type of feel with this fragrance. Lasts a nice period of time. So if you have longevity issue concerns with DHP, you won't have that with this one. I think Harmonious is a really good iteration. It's the reason why it's ranked at 30 is because, again, it definitely lacks originality and creativity. It really is more so, you know, Christian Provenzano saying, I want a DHP-like fragrance under my line, and that's kind of what I want to do. And that's literally, I think that's the thought process, because this is unmistakable. Like, this is unmistakably DHP. So if you're into the type of DNA, and again, I will say this with a grain of salt, DHP right now, depending on what you can get it at, right? Because some people are pricing it a little bit high for it being discontinued and the lack of availability. You have to understand, DHP was not sold at the price that it's selling at now. You're only paying for the exclusivity of the fragrance and the lack of availability of the fragrance. The quality of the fragrance is not the markup, right? What you're paying for with Harmonious is the quality of ingredients and the way that the blend is there, and the longevity. So much better ingredients. In my honest opinion, I would avoid any sort of markup on a DHP and just jump straight to Harmonious, especially if that's the type of DNA that you love. You won't be disappointed with this. It's really almost a one-for-one type of representation of the scent. Plus, you'll end up getting, you know, the better quality, in my honest opinion, and better longevity with a beautiful bottle and stylized like nice. Love it. So, in my honest opinion, I think it makes a little bit more sense to pay, you know, the upcharge for this as opposed to paying the upcharge because of lack of availability, because that's kind of not what it was intended to be sold at, if that makes any sense. But anyways, that's Harmonious coming in at 30. Now, this one's a very interesting one because what it's trying to emulate is a wonderful fragrance in itself. This is coming in at 29, and this is Midnight. This is a gorgeous bottle, guys. Beautiful, beautiful bottle. Really nice. Now, what Midnight is Frederic Maule's Portrait of a Lady. The thing with that is, Portrait of a Lady is damn good, right? I totally forgot. And again, go into the comments section and be like, Madar, you're an idiot. I forgot if Portrait of a Lady has oud, but I know Midnight does not have oud. But they smell very, 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 very similar. So, in my honest opinion, if you like Frederic Maule's Portrait of a Lady, if the price is not cheaper than Portrait of a Lady, probably just go with Frederic Maule. It's done really well. It's done great. And, you know, Frederic Maule uses great quality material. Not to say that this doesn't, it really does. It's just, at this point, I don't see the reason for the uptick. However, if you're a fan of BTV and you just kind of want to add to the collection and really have a nice, beautiful bottle, I got this at a steal of a deal. So that's the reason why it's here. And I love the scent, and it's a scent that I would choose over many others when I'm in the mood for this. And it also helps that I don't have Portrait of a Lady. And it's not made me kind of want to go out and buy it. So that kind of gives high regards. So again, beautiful rose, beautiful woody concoction in this. It's really nice. It's really dark. You know, it's a sexy date night fragrance. Yes, I do think females can wear this as well. you know, I just like this. I really, really like this. I think this is a great iteration of, you know, Portrait of a Lady. And even though it doesn't kind of break barriers to kind of say, I am better, it does pay great respect to it. And given the fact that I don't have Portrait of a Lady, this does the trick. So that's why I have a little bit high praise for this one. But all in all, the quality of the scent is fantastic. So check out Midnight if you have the resources to, and just double check the price, because I got this at a great steal, so it just made sense to me. Now here's another surprise. So this is coming in at 28. This is another Zodiac fragrance. I do like this. And again, now the list is kind of getting there. But there would be other things that I'd wear over it, unfortunately. But number 28 will be Dragon from the Zodiac collection. Again, got this as a partial, but I've worn it. I've enjoyed it. I think it's beautiful. I do think it's nice. I do think it's ridiculous. It's really good. It's really good. And the more that you wear it, I think, yeah, the more that you wear it, I think it's just, you get a little bit more of an appreciation of the scent and how the scent develops. You get the fruity berries with it. You still get that warmth, the ambery, vanillic dry down. It is a fairly sweet fragrance, but it's a sweet fragrance that I think is done fairly, fairly well. I do like this. I really do like this fragrance. In my honest opinion, I think the other Zodiacs are done much better. It's one of those where there's not too much, in my opinion, there's not too much complexity with this fragrance, but the amber is done extremely well. The smokiness is really tamed down, but adds a beautiful backdrop, back note to this fragrance. And I think what really kind of sells the fragrance to me is really the bottle design. But if you package this in a different bottle, I think that's kind of where you'd say, it's a good scent, but is it really something that's wow, right? But I do enjoy Dragon quite a bit. It's not like my end all be all. Again, there's other fragrances that I'd choose over this if the time came to wear it. But it is done well. It's just, yeah. For a Zodiac, for the price point that they're asking, I just think it kind of falls a tiny bit short. So there's that. But that's Dragon coming in at 28. Now this fragrance I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. Very feminine leaning, but again, men can wear this, no issues. This is coming in at number 27. This is Envious. And Envious is a beautiful white floral fragrance. Creamy, white floral deliciousness. It has that crispness in the air. Very delicate. Oh, it's so good. It's really good. I think this is an excellent, excellent fragrance. I do think it leans a little bit more feminine, but this is superb. I think this is I would almost deem it as a must try, must own if you're into BTV. And again, I think right now you could probably pick up a bottle of Envious for fairly like a great price. This constitutes it. I think as a white floral fragrance, you get that beautiful, delicious creaminess with it. The white florals are done exceptionally well. There's nothing synthetic feeling about this fragrance. It wears a little bit warm-ish, but you can still pull this off in warmer weather. Cooler weather, it'll really have a beautiful scent sillage. But Envious is just fantastic. I think this is a top tier release in my opinion from BTV. But again, it kind of shows you a testament of where it ranks, right? I mean, we're talking now like mid-20s in the list, and that's still a lot of good praise. But yeah, Envious I think is done exceptionally well. Yeah, give this one a try. It does suck that it's down here, but it's not down here because of it being bad or anything like that. It's just the list is really strong. So, with that being said, Envious is coming in at 27. And our last one is coming up. So we are finishing episode 2 with 26, and without further ado, this is Glorious. Glorious from BTV. Now, fun fact about this fragrance, beautiful fruitiness, woodiness, wonderful aromatics on it. Fun fact is, I started off with a sample, and I remember I got the sample, and I was just like, okay, cool. You know, this is dope. I'm going to try it. I'm going to spray it, and I'll go do my thing. I went to the gym. Um, when I sprayed it and I left the house, I was like, damn. I'm like, there's nothing. There's nothing coming off of my body. What's happening? Right? Wasn't nose blind, nothing like that. And I was just like, all right, whatever. Who knows? Whatever. Maybe it's a bad batch, or maybe it's just, you know what? Maybe the sample wasn't good. Right? As I'm working out, I'm on the treadmill, you know, kind of going at a decent pace, on an uphill, body's starting to warm up. As the body starts warming up, there's this phenomenal scent, this fruitiness in the air. Pause. This fruit scent in the air. That was just wonderful. And I was just like, what the hell? I'm like, is that me? And there was really like not too many people around me at that point. And yeah, as my body was heating up, the scent was intensifying, but not intensifying to the degree where it was just like, oh shoot, this is overbearing or anything like that. It was actually fairly nice. And that's kind of what Glorious is. Glorious is just a wonderful, beautiful wearing. It's so great. It's a blossoming scent. It's a scent that lasts quite a long time as you wear it. I love the fruity nuances of this. I love everything about this. It's so clean. It's so elegant. Again, nothing about it screams synthetic. I just love that. I love the way that this scent is done. So for me personally, like I got a lot of aromatics with this. I got a lot of woodiness with this. You know, with the fruity aspects, I got a lot of fruitiness with it. But the fruits were done almost in a slightly sweet tart type of way that wasn't overpowering, because a lot of the elements of the fragrance really kind of brought it back down. And as soon as I think I crushed maybe 3 wearings from the sample, I said, this is a must. I need to get this. And voila, I got this. It's in the collection. I'm very happy with that. So Glorious is phenomenal. Really enjoyed it. And it's a great way to kind of close out episode 2. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have tried the fragrances in this list and what your thoughts are. If you agree, disagree, whatever the case may be. But please make sure that you subscribe. Please make sure that you like. Please make sure that you share and comment, and get my name out there, and we can keep making amazing content like this. So thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 2 has come to a conclusion, and let's see what episode 3 brings us. Much love. Peace out. Have a great week. Bye.